Hello guys, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Uh this we are going to be doing our weekly analysis today. I'm just going to be showing you guys quickly what I'm expecting throughout this week, all right? And believe me, if you watch through the end, you're going to also learn how to do your top-down analysis, how to start from the high time frame and you move right down to the lower time frames. Okay, it's going to be it's going to be an educative lesson which will help you a lot. All right, so first we're going to start first with the dollar index. Why I start with the dollar index is because every currency that you're trading, either the base or the quote currency of it has an impact on that currency. So when we are looking at Euro USD, US dollar there as the quote currency has an impact. All right, so which means if you are buying euro, what you're simply saying is that the quote currency, which is US dollar, is weak and the base currency, which is euro, is strong, right? So if you understand the strength of both of them, it will help you to know which trading decision you should be making. All right, now there is a concept that is called double push, and it's actually like part of CRT, all right, which we are going to talk about it some other days. Now, just looking at this thing here, this was a CRT candle. We took the low, took the high, and closed back within. So just this alone is already telling me that price is likely to continue lower. All right, and then we still have this other block, price tap back into it. And we have this area, as many of you would say, it's a resistance, a support. Now that is a resistance. All right, now that's just maybe looking at it just from the basic perspectives. Or let's go first now to at least let's go to the monthly time frame. All right, now when we look at the monthly time frame, I think last month actually closed a bullish engulfing, which will make a lot of people to expect buying. All right, they expect to buy more. Okay, maybe trading into this fair value gap here. Now I will tell you guys that this week of August has actually, I mean, this month of August is it's really how will I put it? The month is actually very tricky. All right, now just looking at this price action here based on the monthly, you would want to say that price wants to trade up into this fair value gap. That is true, all right. But we're going to have this as our plan B. Okay, if this month rejects back to maybe to come back close within this fair value gap. Plus, we have an inversion here, even like triple inversion. So, which actually means there's reasons for price to trade back up into this fair value gap. Now, the main thing at this point is price looks so much bearish. Okay, especially on the weekly time frame. Seeing price come back to close like this, so this heavy rejection, and last week we barely did nothing. I just plus we have this low right here. Okay, we have this low which was not taken out, and we have this candle which I would want to use it as my other block. I think price actually mitigated it. We didn't. Let me see. Let's look at it closely. Looks like price did not mitigate it. Yeah, the high of the candle comes in at 94,620, and the low of this one comes in at the low of that one comes in at, what is that? The low comes in at 629. Okay, while the high of this one is 620. So we have a difference of about 9 pips. So we actually did not mitigate that area. So there is still some possibilities that price might want to take out this low. Okay, because at this point here we had this hidden fair value gap which price reacted to off of, and we had that push to the upside from that zone. So I still feel like there's a possibility for price to trade lower again. Okay, now we're going to go down to the daily time frame to see what is happening here. But if price wants to buy, first this is going to be our target, this no week high, and then the monthly fair value gap, inversion gaps as well, these two ones behind. Okay, which means this high is likely going to be a target. But now let's look at the batch first. We will have this as our other block. Okay, we'll have this as our weekly order block, and then we target price first, no week, and then the high of this one, which is the monthly fair value gap. Also, we notice how price rejected off from this inversion gap here. Okay, and then we are pushing on the balanced price range. Now, we expanded to the upside, rejected back down to close below. Let's look at it on the daily chart. Now, on the daily, price traded back down to this fair value gap here. And we're having this little push, which was on Friday. Now, for me to be bullish, okay, for me to be bullish on this, I want to see price trade above this candle's high. Okay, so which means that if we can trade above and close below above that high, then we can target what? The no wick high that we saw on the weekly, and then definitely the fair value gap. So this is just for me to put a balance to all this, because I see a lot of consolidation here. Okay, and I'm also tempted to think that price will want to maybe continue lower for some reasons I'll tell you later in the video. Now, looking at this, price closes above this high, that's when I'm going to be bullish on DXY. Okay, but for now, at this point, actually, I'm not bullish nor bearish. Okay, I haven't had the confirmations needed to be bullish. As you can see, even on the 4-hour time frame, price is just ranging around this area. But if you want to get in very early on the 4-hour, you might want to wait for a close above this high, like a clear displacement above that high, before you think of buying. Also, there is a no wick low here which has a fair value gap, and there's a likelihood that price will come down to that area. Okay, now there is some SMTs between bonds and this, and I feel like price might want to drop again more from this point. Okay, maybe to tap into this area first before we can now continue the buy to the upside. So which means at this point, if we want to start buying from here, we'll close above that high I mentioned before I start buying. Or if price now trades below to this point and then give us reasons to buy, then therefore I'll be buying from that point. Okay, if we have reasons to buy when price drops down to this area, that's where I'm going to be looking to buy. If not, I'll stay put. All right, now that's for the buys. Let's see what we have on the so we have two zones here where we're expecting our buys. First is if price drops down to this zone, then we can look for buys there to target the monthly fair value gap. Now, this is based on the fact that we have a good candle close for our last month, right? Our previous monthly candle was very nice, so there's a possibility we can continue higher. Okay, now looking at it on the 4-hour, as I said, we have first price drops down to this zone, then we can get some buys there, because with this accumulation, a lot of people are already buying, right? So which means there's a likelihood that price can manipulate to the downside and then continue higher. But if that doesn't happen and then we close above this with a daily candle above this high, as I mentioned back on the daily chart, then I'll also look to buy a retest of any displacement gap that we created around that area. Now that's for buys, all right? That's for buys. And if price wants to sell, then we are targeting this sell side liquidity here. If the market wants to continue selling, then that's where we're going to be dropping down to the sell side liquidity. And what will be our qualifications for that? If price takes out this low, okay? If price actually takes down this low, we can be looking to sell from there now right down to this low, because this low again will not hold price. I don't see any reason here for price to start buying around that zone, because all this now is just trend line liquidity. And actually, yeah, that's just trend line liquidity. And if price fails also to respect this one, then all this is trend line liquidity. Okay, so if the market close below even this key level, we can start looking for a retest of it and then to continue selling. So which means if the market just sells or breaks out that level, we can look for sales like that. Target this low, and furthermore this one, and then the right one down. All right, so that's for DXY. Let's look at Euro USD. Now let's look at Euro USD on the monthly time frame. Take note of something here. This Euro USD like this, it's actually doing something very funny, because we had this fair value gap. We have this fair value gap. I've been looking at this fair value gap for quite some time now, but it looks like I'm seeing something else now. Let's see. The high of this candle is at 1908, and the high of this one is 19,090. So it actually means we have a peak movement above this high. So, but then I was considering it to still be a fresh fair value gap and looking at these areas here to be some equal highs. And when you look at this one, we have SMT, right? We're having SMT because this candle on DXY, let me just show two. That particular candle on DXY on the monthly shows that price engulfed the monthly candle, okay? But we don't have that engulfing here. Let me just delete all this. Let's look at it now. You can see that the previous monthly candle completely engulfed this one, but here we failed to close below the low. So this is actually what SMT that's happening. I think it will be even more clearer on the daily. It'll be clearer on the daily charts. Let's look at it on the daily now. If you look at this, let's look at this high even, 23 June. All right, this is the same high here. Okay, now price has also taken this high, this low actually. So let's look at this point. This was the high of the previous candle, which is 02 June. It's right down here. So that's the SMT we are talking about. So there's a likelihood that price might want to trade up to grab those equal highs. Let's look at it. It's much clearer on the daily time frame. All right, so these are the equal highs that we have here on the daily. Into that monthly fair value gap I just pointed, we have those equal highs right here. And look at this fair value gap here. Very big fair value gap, which might make price to trade into. So these are the possibilities that we have for the Euro USD to be bullish. Now, if you look closely, you understand that though I was expecting buys on DXY, Euro looks so much too bullish, man. I don't just understand. But then we are so much looking like price wants to continue higher on Euro USD. But still we have the same closure for the weekly candles on Euro USD. Price closing below this one. And then this previous week we tested it, rejected a little, and we could continue back lower. Let's see what we have on the daily. On the daily time frame, we have I think if price wants to sell, then all this is going to be just trend line liquidity, okay? And we'll likely have to take out this low right here. And then we have this right here. Let's look at on the 4 hour. Now, let's look at something here on the 4 hour. Remember, I pointed out a key level that I said if I want to buy DXY, I'll wait for price to manipulate out of this range. Okay, if we manipulate out of that range into this key level, which is the same key level that I've spotted on DXY. Okay, the same zone on DXY. This is it. This is the same zone on DXY, and this is the same zone on Euro USD. Now, Euro USD, if this bearish order block fails, okay, if that bearish order block fails, then it's going to be a retest and price will come into this area. All right, that's very clear. If that fails, that's what happened. And also, this looks like a market maker buy model. You can see original consolidation, reversal. It's likely what this guy want to continue buying. But yeah, we just have these key levels like this. If this one fails as well, then we'll have a retest of it. We continue lower. Okay. That's basically it, but I actually expect DXY to respect this and move higher, and I expect Euro USD to do what? Respect this and continue lower. So this means that we have this area to look for confirmations. But now, what if price doesn't trade up and what if price doesn't trade down? We have our invalidations, okay? Same here as well. We close above that high, we continue, we close below this low, we continue. If at all we don't have a manipulation back up to that zone. Let's look at GBP USD. All right, so GBP USD monthly time frame, I think, yeah, we had a very nice shift market structure, and the price has even retested back this volume gap that we have here on the monthly time frame. Now we had the fair value gap here, and price did not fill it, so we still have good reasons for Euro GU to sell off as a retest of this other block. On the weekly, this previous weekly candle close so bullish. We can still have price respect this fair value gap. All right, which also aligns nicely with that other block. So I think it makes sense if we have some kind of it makes sense on the daily, since we're expecting Euro USD to buy a little before selling. It also makes sense for GU to push a little bit up, create the high of the week before it comes back down to fill the monthly fair value gap. Okay, so we have this fair value gap here. So we're going to see something like that. Remember, this is the volume gap on the monthly. So that's GU. Maybe a spike a little up into that other block, and then we can continue selling down to fill this gap right here. That's about GBP USD. Let's look at gold. All right, so gold. I feel like gold wants to continue higher. What is that doing? Gold, we are coming back for this all-time high. We are having some reactions from this other block, and we had price reject out of this other block. So we have this high primary to target, this one as well, and probably the all-time high. Okay, so we are still bullish, and I think just around this area here, we can just take up those highs like that. You can see how this price rejected from this guy. But then, if this wants to be a CRT, it's still possible because, you know, this is another block here. Therefore, price will want to trade down to this fair value gap. Maybe when we're testing this breaker here before we continue higher. So something like that. I think that will make sense even. Yeah, that will make sense. That will make sense. I think it looks good like that. Let's see 4 hour. Okay, so maybe with this consolidation, we can have a spike up. We can have a spike up to this other block here. And then price trades back down to that breaker, to this breaker block here. This is a very nice breaker block. Very, very nice. With a lot of trendline liquidity in it. So I'd love to buy gold if it trades down to this breaker here. Okay, so let's look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin, I had some longs on Bitcoin after we fill this gap here, and this looks really bullish. Yeah, it looks really bullish. We are moving higher, and I think the next step is the all-time high. Okay, I think we are going back to the all-time high. Where is our all-time high? Okay. So this high, 120 something. The high of this candle is at 123,236. So probably we are coming back for that high now. You could see it closed above this one. It was a signal for higher prices. So we're definitely taking out that high. Okay. And you can also see the weekly candle. The weekly is filling out this fair value gap, and we're buying up from there. So let's check out the weekly high here. That's Bitcoin. Let's look at US 100. US 100 is same, going back for creating all-time highs for now. I don't see a reason for us to go against the overall trend unless we trade around 43,000 or 24,000 as a big figure. Okay, maybe 25,000 as well. 25,000. 25,000, somewhere there. All right, I think US 500 will be the same, and let's look at USD GPY. USD GPY, good. USD GPY order block. I want to sell. That's not a good idea. What are we expecting on DX, on GBP US, on DXY? We're expecting higher prices on DXY, right? So it's likely that this guy can also continue higher. But let's look at it on the monthly first. Good. We had a very nice close for the monthly. Look at that fair value gap sitting nicely on that zone, and then we have price rejecting off from this other block here. Meanwhile, we have filled this fair value gap. So USD GPY bullish back to taking up all these highs from there. Okay, and yeah, that's it. We are actually bullish. We are bullish on USD GPY. So guys, not to make this video long, I think that should be it. All right, that should be it. That should be it. I've exhausted all the pairs on my watch list, so that should be it. If you have any questions, leave them on the comment section, and if you want any particular video, you can actually request it on the comment section, and I'll make sure that I make a video on that for you guys. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching right up to this moment. I wish you guys the best of luck throughout this week. Make sure you trade with good risk management, and make sure you follow your plan. Keep emotions aside, don't revenge trade. Make sure you trade with proper risk management. All right, so thank you guys.